If you turn the label over and there's ingredients on that label that you can't pronounce and you don't know what they are, then that means that it was not intended to go into our bodies.
So Elizabeth and Noah, thank you for being back with us today. I want to give some really practical ways for our listeners and myself to get back into this healthy lifestyle. Because as we talked about, it's a new year. And so everybody's thinking about this right now. How can we very practically jump off into this? Someone who's maybe they've just fallen off the wagon, or maybe they've just never really taken their health seriously. What would you say to them? How do you get them started?
That's a really good question and a very loaded one. But I would say the first thing would be, don't try to do it all at once. Take it one thing at a time. Do what you can with what you have, where you are, and change things as you go. As something runs out, figure out a way that you can replace that with something that is going to be better for your health. Another thing I would say is start reading ingredients in your food. If you turn the label over and there's ingredients on that label that you can't pronounce and you don't know what they are, then that means that it was not intended to go into our bodies. So if you really start reading ingredient labels, that can really, really help clean up your diet. And then kind of piggybacking off of that, something that Noah had mentioned is learn how to cook. Maybe once a month, eat out, probably less than that. I can't remember the last time we ate out. We eat 3 meals a day at home. We cook all of our meals. From scratch. Yeah. There's literally no better way not no better way, but it is going to be a very, you're going to make strides in health if you learn how to cook quality whole foods. And it's not hard. Anyone can learn how to cook. You don't have to have this culinary background. And cooking whole foods can be very, very easy and convenient even. So I would say those 3 things to start.
I would say, as I'm listening to you, I really believe, that homeschooling really lends itself to making these things happen. Many homeschool families are on a single income. And so cooking at home is a practical way that we can make things more affordable anyway, right? And a lot of us are doing that anyway because we have the time, because we're at home. I also think, and I want to ask you, but I really do believe just homeschooling in general. It opened my eyes. The other day I drove my son, who's 12. We drove by what is the local middle school, and I don't know if he'd ever seen it. And I'm like, that's where you would be. And he looked at it and he's like, they're inside all day. And I'm like, they are. And he's like all day? And I'm like, they are. And this is a boy that's outside 90% of the time. And he said to me, he goes, Mom, I would die. And I was like, they are, honey. Like their physical body. They are.
When we have autonomy over our families and our kids and the flexibility to do whatever, we want and to rebalance our lives, it lends itself so beautifully to being able to do that, to teach our kids why we value the things that we do and get them involved. Sayla knows how to cook. She cooks pretty good breakfast. She knows how to make eggs and a lot of different things. And, she knows the value. Sometimes it's embarrassing, honestly, of clean ingredients. We'll go somewhere and she'll ask, she's like, is this organic? Like, Sayla, don't ask that. Don't ask them. It doesn't have to be organic when we're visiting. Yeah. So,
but she does that from a good place because she knows, because we've taught her why we eat the way that we eat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay, for the mom who maybe she's like, okay, organic. Yeah, maybe I keep seeing organic stuff in the store. I don't grow my own food. Okay. Talk to the city girl. Talk to the
Yvette.
Talk to me, who's, a city girl through and through. We've talked about this before. In my fantasies, I want to be a country girl, and I'm just not. I'm a city girl. But I, at least for myself, we've done so many podcasts on food and cooking and things like that, in the past 5 years. And I still struggle with it because it seems overwhelming to me. And you're saying it doesn't need to be that difficult. So simplify this for me, because I'm the one who I'm like, okay, I'm looking at my grocery list, my Walmart pickup grocery list, and I'm looking at a menu and I'm trying to just figure out, like, what do I make that's healthy and good for my family and nourishing to them and is going to give them all of the things that they need. And it completely overwhelms me, to be super honest with you. It just does. I don't like to be in the kitchen. I don't like menu planning. I don't like meal prep. My girls are much better at it than I am, but I really want to teach this to them. And I'm getting better at it. I have gotten much better at being in the kitchen and cooking and meal planning, but it's still, I mean, there's nothing that overwhelms me more than having to figure out meals, healthy meals for my family. So how do you simplify it? How do you make this easy for yourself and for your family that you can pass this on to your kids?
I think that you're not alone in that. People tend to get very overwhelmed when you say eat whole foods, and eat clean. There's this like stigma.
Processed food.
Yeah. But honestly, most of our meals look like a protein, a vegetable, and a starch. Like that's literally, cook up some ground beef, season it well, learn how to roast vegetables in the oven, and they're delicious. And it really doesn't have to be that complicated. And
because the crazy thing is like really good food. Like,
that's what I was going to say. The
like
quality.
If you source, good ingredients, it tastes amazing because that's the way that God designed it, obviously. So, and it takes time for, our taste buds to readjust for sure. But salt, salt is amazing. That's when she says season it well, she doesn't mean like add like,
salt and pepper and garlic.
Salt and pepper and garlic. And don't be afraid to like transition into that slowly. I think you have to have a passion for it. It has to be important. Like we're going to be weird to probably 90% plus of your audience because, we value eating clean, but we don't have health insurance. And that's a choice. Like we're not advocating that everybody does that. Sure. But for us, we say, we don't trust in the medical system. We trust in God. And we would rather invest all the money that we would be spending in a healthcare plan into leveling up the food quality, into getting, pastured beef, having our own chickens in our backyard because we've got an acre or two that we can use, cutting out the processed foods, getting some organic olive oil or even just olive oil, cutting out those refined oils and leveling up the oils and leveling up the meats. It's all about being able to, where you can, cut out the bad and add something that's better. Something that's better is just really the food in the state that God designed it. And it really does work out that way. That's the crazy thing. It's if the food has been changed in some way to make it cheaper to produce, it's just not the same food. I mean, it's just sadly not. And it's not a snobbery thing as much as it is we respect God's original design and we benefited from God's original design.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.